Firstly, the wooden bed is just made of this stud work, which is 63 by 38. It's just common stud softwood we buy in the builder's merchant. The cross pieces are just any bits of finished batten. I've had to pack it up. I'll explain that later. You could just use the stud as cross pieces, which I probably would do if I made another one. The timber is 500 millimeters long. And that's about it really for the timber. It has a hole drilled in it here, so this goes through to a wing nut. Now we come on to the metal work. So these pipe clamps come in various sizes and fit into a pipe stand or bracket, which is normally made to be that way up. But if you do it that way up, you won't have room for the nuts, the locking nuts that lock this in position together with the wing nut underneath. So what I did is I just drilled a slightly underside hole and I put it in that way. I can show you because I experimented on this piece of wood. So you put it in that way. So the other thing is this has two threads, an M10 and an M8, so it can take either M10 or M8 threaded bar. So I drilled it out so that it was M10 size. I think I drilled it out with a 9.5mm drill, and then I ran a M10 tap through the whole lot, so the bar could go right the way through to the wing nut on the other side. So by a combination of the wing nut and the two locking nuts, you can adjust the height and lock in position. Originally this was straight on these bits, but because I decided I needed the wing nut for additional support, I packed it up with another bit of batten. But as I say, you could just use this as your cross pieces in the first place. These are just two angle brackets with a bit of chain opened up to attach to the end of the string. These are two builder's brackets. This is a 10mm chuck with an M10 thread to fit onto this threaded bar. This is one of my let down tools. There's a box of them here. This is a spring arbor of a French clock that I changed a spring in. I've got two springs, so I've got to do the other one. I can't actually show you that because I'm holding my iPad. So this is M10 bar. I think it's 230mm long. This stud bar was 100mm, goes all the way through to the wing nut underneath. These are about, I think they're 90, 100mm, if you can get it, 90mm builder's brackets. There's three M10 bolts, one in the middle that the ratchet screwdriver fits on, and two penny washers, and a machine knob with an M10 fitting, and then so you have to Loctite or lock thread. This is the stuff. Where is it? Loctite thread locker. So that's been applied to there, these screws, not the washers, I'll let them slip, and there. You don't do that until you're happy where all the positions and the movement and the travel is, so that you can move this up and down as you along the travel as you wish. I'll take that out. So I'm doing this one-handed. Right. Once you're happy that all this travels as far as you want. Now I did think of putting, if you get a 12mm copper plumbing tube, it fits quite snugly with a M10 thread, so you could sleeve this, but I decided that the actual threads offer some natural resistance to it pulling out when you've got the spring loaded. The other thing is, if you want to stop the thing in any one position, you can just sort of fit a bulldog fit on there. So I think that's about it really. Oh, the ratchet screwdriver. This is very important. Once you've got the spring wound up, once you've wound the spring up, and you need the next stage to unwind it, don't flip it without holding on to that, otherwise it'll just all explode or unwind in an uncontrolled manner. So when you're ready to unwind, when you've got a fully loaded spring, when you're ready to unwind, you need to hold that or that. I tend to hold the chuck with my left hand, and then in a controlled manner, holding the chuck and the knob, I unwind the spring. The knob you could also fashion a cramp of some sort. The only other thing about the spanner, this one's too long, but it's from a cheap set I bought for about £10. You get 5 different sizes. It's too long, so I did buy stubby spanners, but the stubby spanners haven't got a switch, so they're no use. But they're a useful set of spanners for £10, or they're £12 thereabouts. If you wanted to buy just one spanner, you can only buy single spanners from very high class manufacturers, and they cost more than a set of cheap ones, and you only need cheap ones for this. You're not doing any clever, engineering. You're just buying it for the ratchet. But if you can buy a shorter one, it would be nicer. I'll do another little video on the more controversial aspect of this, which is the sleeves. Oh, just to say that distance is 90mm, and this distance is about 190 millimetres from the centre to here. So that's what I've come up with. But you can, before you put the Loctite on any of this, play with it until you're happy that it fits your letdown tool length. But it's nice to have the length, because then you've got the option of fitting everything on more easily and slipping it about, whereas if you're tight, you know, it's a bit more awkward. I hope that helps. I think this little arrangement probably explains itself. It's just a chain with an open up thing, and I can adjust it along here. That happens to be M5 threaded bar, because it happens to fit this chain. There's a nut on there. You can also just use a closed peg. You know, it offers enough resistance to not pull out when you've got the spring in here, when you've got the arbor in there. I haven't tightened this up instantly, this is all loose, so don't take any notice if it's tightened up, but I'll just put it in there to kind of show you how it works. Well, you know how it works because of all the other YouTubes, but you know, once that's tightened up, that's all really solid. Unfortunately, I can't show you the actual doing of the spring because I'm holding this with one hand. I'll just show you sort of the lengths and sizes of things I've used. Mainly stuff I had, apart from the pipe clips. So I probably need one or two more sizes there, but I haven't started on any big springs yet. So I'll make a separate little video on the sleeves. Thank you.